welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, and today we will be going over your MLM horror stories. So if you have your own MLM horror story that you want to send me, or an experience you have had with an MLM, I have the info in the description box down below on how you can send it to me, and let's get into today's video. So the first story says, MLM horror story, young mom in Monat. It says, hi Deanna, I've been watching your channel for a while now, and these MLM horror stories have me hooked and have helped me leave my MLM, so thank you. This is going to be a very long story, but I want it to be as detailed as possible and want to finally share my story as a whole, even if it's anonymously. I got involved with Monat at the end of December 2019. A couple months before then, I had heard of the company through my boyfriend who knew someone who worked in Monat, and he was intrigued that she was able to work and travel and thought it would be something I could do as I was 19 and a stay-at-home mom when he told me about this. I said no at first because I didn't like to show myself on social media, but still ended up reaching out to her and connecting to get more information. That night, we both Googled Monat and found the lawsuits, and I messaged her back and said I wasn't interested due to the lawsuits and negativity surrounding the company. She was nice about it, and we moved on. Eventually, I started culinary school and was working part-time at 2 different places while balancing school and being a mother, but I still didn't feel like I was contributing enough to reach our financial goal. I kept watching her and eventually fell for it and messaged her December 29th, 2019, and I wanted to sign up, so I did. It was the time when people could qualify for founder shares, and I thought signing up right away would qualify me for these shares. I was wrong. I think it's important to note myself and my partner didn't know what MLMs were, nor did we think Monat was one. We thought it was a genuine business, and we knew how badly I wanted to contribute to reach our goals. He was extremely supportive the whole time, which I'm grateful for, but I did find that I would get defensive if someone said anything negative about the products of the company. I didn't make any sales or any money the first 2 months, and the people I sold to were only those I knew, and half were family and friends. My quote-unquote business really took off during the pandemic. I was home with my daughter since daycare was closed, so I couldn't go to school. I was told to constantly recruit, that was the only way I would qualify for founders and achieve market mentor, the rank of the free car. I was constantly on my phone or my laptop at home and really thought I was doing our family good by getting this quote-unquote side hustle income. I also bought a lot of products during the lockdown. I remember my entire shelf was solely Monat. Only the skincare and the hair care, I had about 7 bottles of shampoo and 5 bottles of conditioner, 3 hair masks, and like 5 to 8 post-shower products. It was way too much. I hit the first rank in May, and that month was my most successful rank, roping in a whopping $450. For context, I made just under $1,000, and that's not including what I spent on products. So I definitely either broke even or barely even made a profit. It's embarrassing because I hyped this up so much when all my months of work amounted to income that I made in my first paycheck at my current job. I remember not spending time with my partner at night because that was the time for live videos, team calls, and training my own team. I would lock myself in a room and try to film content for hours. I really thought I was furthering my business when I was really wasting precious time I could have had with my partner, as we are now extremely busy and don't have much time together even though we live together. There are some toxic things I remember being a quote-unquote leader, having reached the first rank and having some girls under me. We would have leader calls, which would just lead to how other girls are complaining that their team isn't working and calling out specific girls in their downline in an annoyed type of way. Our ranks do depend on how well our downlines do, if they rank, if they sell, etc. So when they say they want you to succeed, it's so that they can rank up themselves. Another thing I was seeing girls say that every day they want to quit the business because it gives them anxiety and they hate it. But then they make a sale or a recruit or someone else, and all of a sudden they remember the vision and it isn't supposed to be easy. We had to find our niche, which mine was young mothers and college students, of course, and I feel like absolute crap for trying to portray that this business is what will help us struggling young moms to build a life of our dream for our kids. I truly did believe it. Once my sidelines found out I was a young mom with multiple jobs in school working Monat, they wanted to do a live with me to inspire others that they do have the time for Monat, because if she can do it, you can do it. When I signed up, I was also told there were no hidden costs, no monthly fees, etc., only to find out halfway that there was an annual fee, which was extremely misleading when I joined. So I want to pause for a second. I feel like this person has really honed in on a lot of important things. First off, with her being a stay-at-home mom, mom, that is such a group of individuals that are really, really targeted in these MLMs. And I find it very sad that they are targeted, but a lot of the times stay-at-home moms, they still want to do something, right? Yes, they're staying home, but they want to contribute in some way. And with everything happening with the pandemic, it makes sense why this person felt that way. And then also where she pointed out that her niche or her group of people to reach out to were also moms and students, because that was her and that was her situation. And that's why a lot of the times in MLMs, it's a vicious cycle of people just recruiting vulnerable people because they were a vulnerable person. And I really truly feel that that's where that comes from, when you keep seeing vulnerable people being recruited or using their vulnerabilities to recruit. It's because they were also vulnerable when they signed up, and they were also someone that wasn't at the best place, and because of that they have now signed up with an MLM and are trying to recruit and sell to people who remind them of them. So I hope that this person doesn't feel bad after that, but I know how much individuals can feel guilty and shameful after leaving an MLM and really remembering like, oh my gosh, I would reach out to people that were like me, and now I know that I was reaching out to vulnerable moms and vulnerable students who probably didn't have the money to join. And I can relate to that, and so many more people can relate to that situation. And it is really sad to see that she wasn't spending time with her partner because all those late night calls and having to help her team and things like that. So let's keep going. She said, I can go on and on, but my breaking point was when daycares were opened back up and I had the choice to return immediately back to work or take Monat seriously full time. My partner encouraged me to try it full time to see how I would truly succeed if I went all in with no risks, so I did. I tried it for about 2 weeks and made no return. I talked to my daughter, she was 2 years old at this time, and asked her what mommy should do for work, and these were her exact words. Mommy, work on laptop and I cry. Oh, I want to be clear, the whole time I worked at Monat, I was beside my daughter while she played. I was physically there, but mentally and emotionally, I was doing Monat, replying to DMs on my laptop. So yes, I had more time with my daughter, but the financial return and how she felt about me being constantly plugged to technology was not worth it, and how it made her emotionally feel. I never knew she was so upset, and it made me sad to hear how she truly felt. So after she told me this, I told my work I was ready to come back and erase my whiteboard of goals, promised myself to dedicate most of my time to my daughter unplugged. That was back in August of 2020. Now I am studying criminology and policing and looking forward to a career in law enforcement while working as a cook. I'm grateful I can experience a job doing something I love while pursuing my passions, and honestly, I love being able to unplug and not worry about having to reply to DMs. I have a beautiful relationship with my daughter and we enjoy our downtime. My partner and I have a great relationship and we are working towards our goals. He's super supportive through the waves of being in an MLM to leaving. I will say, after the whole MLM experience, I have a hard time replying back to DMs, as I feel they may not feel like I am genuine, but I have found a community in anti-MLM. Thank you so much if you read my story, and thank you for your anti-MLM work. First off, I am so happy to hear that like her spouse was so supportive, even though he said, yes, you should try Monat full time. It's just amazing to see like supportive spouses out there that want their spouse to do what they want to do, right? The fact that she wanted to do maybe Monat full time, while yes, it didn't amount to be anything because, you know, in MLMs, it mostly doesn't for most people. It's just cool for me to see spouses really supporting their individual spouses when they want to go and do something that they're enjoying. So that was awesome to see him really support that, even though she changed her mind, which I'm very happy about, and went back to work. But it is really sad to hear about her daughter, because when you think about it, that's what happens is they tell you you're gonna have more time, especially if you're stay-at-home moms, they're gonna be like, you're gonna have more time with your children. But in all actuality, while you're physically there with your kids, most of the time you're on your phone, you're on calls, you're responding back to DMs, you're doing so much on your phone 24/7 that mentally you're really not there with your kids. And I've seen a lot of moms say this, and a lot of moms have like that mom guilt because they feel bad for their time in their MLM, but it's amazing to see that her and her daughter have a great relationship. But I also want to hit on this. I don't feel like I've hit on this a lot, but I get this question in my DMs so many times. And the question is, how did you go from being in an MLM with your audience and then getting out of an MLM and still feeling genuine? And for me, it was honesty. I was very, very honest with my social media platforms all around about how I felt leaving my MLM, how I was feeling when I was in my MLM, how I truly believed that it was something that was going to be this amazing opportunity for me and so many other people. But I told them, like, I seen the truth. This is the truth. So I feel like if you're honest with your audience and you show them like, yes, I was in an MLM. I understand I may have done oh, my hair's frizzy today. I did just blow dry diets, that may be why. But if you tell people your story, I feel like they'll really understand that. So let's move on to the next story. The next horror story title is one of the best subject line titles I've ever gotten. It says, Beachbody top 10 elite coach tried to recruit me to Beachbody and I didn't know until I watched your videos. She goes, hi Deanna, I absolutely have loved binging your anti-MLM content. Until watching you and a couple other creators, I never knew that much about the MLM business model, even though my dad sold Amway back in the 1980s, and my mom was always talking to me about Avon, Mary Kay Arbonne, and Pampered Chef parties. Among other things, I didn't know someone tried to recruit me and I was this close to joining. I wanted to share this not because it's a horror story, but to share people from all lives fall for them, and it doesn't make you unintelligent or shameful if you get roped into them. Reps do an amazing job at hiding what it actually is that's going on and finding people that are vulnerable. So here it goes. Also, PSA, I do mention EDs here very briefly. Right at the end of my undergrad and in my summer before starting grad school, I was preparing to move from San Diego to upstate New York for school, and I was not employed full-time but still living on my own / paying rent, so money was tight. I also had become much more outspoken in the last couple years on my Instagram about overcoming almost a lifetime of disordered eating and a bad relationship with my body and exercise, thanks 18 years of competitive figure skating, and how I have been finding the joy in training as an athlete again. I was also trying to grow my social media following to empower underrepresented women, Black, Latinx, first gen, undocumented, etc., people in STEM, since I am Latinx and come from a low income family and am actively pursuing a career in engineering. A woman who had a lot of followers and looked like she was a fitness trainer commented on an Instagram post regarding my recovery and progress I made in competitive figure skating, and I was so excited about it. I followed her back, watched a ton of her story. She seemed so wealthy, and I really thought she was like a typical Insta fit model who maybe had a deal with some supplement brand. She introduced me to the idea of this community of supportive women doing at-home workouts, and as someone who was only able to work out in my apartment complex's small gym, because I couldn't afford a gym membership if I wanted to pay for my plane ticket to New York, I was super stoked on the idea. I am all about women supporting women, especially through accessible exercise. Then she told me in order to join, I had to pay, I want to say about $160 to $180 to start and get into the group and be sent everything I need to get started. I told her I had to think about it, but I genuinely was trying to find ways to move around money or put it on a credit card so I could be a part of this opportunity to coach and support other women on a fitness journey. She would always use the tactic of messaging me and or posting that there were only X number of spots left and she was holding them for girls who were excited about joining. So I rushed to message her like, hey, I really want to join. Is there any way that I can pay you back later and start without it? Most of the stuff in the pack seemed like stuff I didn't need, aka Shakeology and the whole Beachbody dealio, which I just had zero interest in because I don't like pre-workouts, protein shakes, and some other gimmicky thing I think she threw in there. She was insistent the pack was absolutely necessary to get everything out of the program, so I decided that sounded a little shady. So I said thanks but no thanks and eventually unfollowed, etc., and didn't think about this until I discovered the anti-MLM community. All of the things I realized 4 years later about understanding Beachbody and MLMs was, 1, she saw that I was passionate about empowering women and preyed on the idea. Icky. She saw that I had a history of ED and preyed on that, even though Beachbody in particular has such a horrendous effect on people who have this. 3, I didn't know it was Beachbody until now 4 years later when I double checked her Insta and Facebook after discovering the anti-MLM community. Why don't you tell people who you work for? Shady. 4, she is now a top 10 elite coach as of 2021, I guess, according to her Facebook. 5, she knew I was a student / financially not doing great and still pressured me to join. 6, maybe the whole reason I wrote this email. Disclaimer, I am not going to claim I'm a genius or that being educated makes you any smarter or better than anyone else. A lot of that day, I'm pretty convinced I was a total idiot. But I'm sharing this story because I'm someone with a BS in engineering from a top 10 school in the country and working on a PhD from another top 10 Ivy League, was raised by a super street smart type parent, an immigrant and police officer, and this Beachbody hun had me hook, line, and sinker. Not only that, but when I told my roommate about it, also a super smart pre-med, she told me the almost the same kind of interaction slash opportunity was presented to her, and she was also this close to joining because she wanted to get in even better shape. So I'm writing this to say that really any and all kinds of people can be duped, manipulated, preyed upon by these reps, and to not be ashamed if you end up feeling like, dang, I joined that MLM and I should have known better slash I'm so stupid, because it literally can happen to anyone, and it doesn't make you stupid or silly. It just means that reps are doing all of the exact manipulative things their uplines and the CEOs are telling them to do. With that being said, I want to especially thank you and all the other creators trying to counter the misinformation and manipulation tactics that are being used all over social media to try and get people to join these MLMs, and even worse, promote diet culture at the same time. She said, also, you can use my name, lots of love, Rachel. Oh my gosh, and she put at the bottom the person who reached out to her just in case. Oh, okay, so the person that actually tried to recruit her was my upline's upline. So it's actually insane when I see that, and it's also more insane because my upline's upline is someone who is a top 10 coach. She has been for many, many years, and she also has like a YouTube channel that's very large, very big channel, and she does amazing videos, literally amazing. I'm not gonna dock her for her amazing videos, but she is great at recruiting people on social media. She really is. She's really good at it and getting people reeled in. So I am kind of shocked, or I'm not shocked to see that it was my upline's upline who was the one messaging her. So thank you for letting me know who it was. But all in all, I loved what she said, that people of any shape, size, you know, intelligence level can get roped into these MLMs, and it doesn't matter how smart you are. You know what I mean? And yes, while I say it all the time that I joined an MLM, that I should have done my research and all of that stuff, at the same time, you don't really think to do your research. Like, oh, you have this amazing person that you trust online that has a following, and you think, oh, I'll join them, like they're living this amazing lifestyle. So then you want to live it, and you sign up for this MLM, and you don't do the research that you should do, and then you just listen to your upline, and that's where things get messed up. So I love that she did point out that even the smartest people can get roped into MLMs, and a lot of people don't know that they should go on Google and research these things, because a lot of the times when you're talking to these reps, they're not telling you like, I'm with Beachbody, I'm a Beachbody, you know, independent contractor, we work for Beachbody. They don't give you all of that information. They talk about the community and how amazing it's gonna be. They talk about this lifestyle, which gets you roped in because you want to do something more, right? You want that community and you want to get involved, so you do before you try and ask questions like, what kind of company is this? Can you give me the name? If they give you the name, you do your research. Sometimes people don't know to look at income disclosure statements and all of that stuff because they don't even know what MLMs are. So I really like that, because even the smartest people can get roped up into these MLMs, and no one should feel that they are quote unquote dumb if they do get involved with these MLMs, because these MLMs know what they're doing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Loved that one, especially because I know the person who tried to recruit you. So now I am going to talk about today's sponsor. So this video is sponsored by Skillshare, and Skillshare is an online learning community and platform that has tons of classes. It honestly has a class for every single type of person. So that's why I'm really in love with Skillshare. They have classes from fine arts to graphic design, photography, freelance, and entrepreneurship. And clearly you guys know my favorite section, the productivity and lifestyle section. So they have something for every person. The class I most recently loved is called Confidence for Creatives, 5 Exercises to Grow Your Confidence and Self-Care by Eugenia Washington. This class in particular was really awesome because it really walks you through certain exercises and steps to build confidence within yourself. And while I'm generally a very confident person, I feel like deep down we all have something we need to work on with our confidence. So I thought that this was a really cool course that you're able to walk through certain steps and exercises to really build that confidence and bring out the best in you. So Skillshare is used specifically for learning, so there is no ads when you use them, which I love. And Skillshare is always launching new classes. And on top of that, it is less than $10 a month with your annual subscription. So the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description below will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership so you can explore your creativity, baby. And let's get back into the video. It says, MLM Horror Story wow phone call. It says, hey girl, I would appreciate it if you keep me anonymous. First of all, I love your channel and everything that you embrace. You're a real light to the world. In September of last year, I joined Monat. After 2 months of being there, I realized it was not for me. The constant chats and the never-ending work and posting on social media was not doing it for me. Also, I was not comfortable with recruiting and cold messaging. After 2 months, I ranked up, got my bonus, and told my upline I wasn't doing it anymore. I said that the reason why was because my real job had me all tied up. She understood, or so I thought. Around a month ago, one of my friends launched his YouTube channel where he is inviting his friends to have conversations about any topic. Since I had been in Monat and he had been in Amway, we agreed on talking about our experiences. I never talked bad about the girls in that segment, but I did talk bad about the company and the business model. When the episode came out, I shared it on my Instagram story. Of course, my upline saw it. After she saw it, she called me and told me a piece of her mind. One, she said that she never knew how I felt because after 15 years of friendship, she's realized that I am too reserved and cold to talk about my feelings. Also said that I am a selfish friend because I was talking about my feelings, but I never thought about hers when I was doing that segment. Two, she said that I was jealous that all of the girls buy their purses and shoes cash and not with credit cards. That same friend says that she buys her things with her husband's credit card, so I don't know where I lied. Three, the best one was this. She said she couldn't understand why I couldn't do the business, that I had no right to be overwhelmed because I do not have kids or a husband or a house to clean. So I went off and told her, no, I do not have kids or a husband, but I do have a company that provides staff to 4 ALFs and I deal with women on a daily basis, plus the owners of ALFs, plus family members. But yes, I had no right to be overwhelmed because I didn't have a husband or child. After I told her that, she started crying and said that I was selfish, cold, and had no feelings. After that, I hung up. It sucks that she's so brainwashed that after 15 years of friendship, she would just care more about the MLM than anything else. Anyways, good riddance. Again, you're amazing and I love you. Okay, these are the stories that are so sad because you have these people that join these MLMs and then they get so wrapped up in it that they feel if you're their friend and you leave the MLM and then you talk bad about the MLM structure, that you're attacking them. And I don't understand where MLM reps get this in their mind that you're trying to attack them. And that's why a lot of the times when we talk about a business model or say I do a deep dive on Herbalife, actually recently, for example, I had someone comment on my video, then soon after deleted it, telling me how dumb my brain was and all of this funny stuff that I laughed about. It was comical. And then I'm like, why? Like, what makes you want to say that? Because I'm not attacking you. Like, I did a deep dive on an MLM that had nothing to do with MLM reps, but MLM reps get it in their mind that someone who talks about the MLM model, whether they're anti-MLM or they don't even consider themselves anti-MLM, they just talk about the MLM model and they don't agree with it, that we are somehow trying to attack you because you're in the MLM when it has nothing to do with them. Yes, you may, be someone that is in the MLM, but most of the time we're not talking about you. Like, I don't get it. So it's sad to see someone who has 15 years of friendship with somebody, and that somebody, just because this person got out of the MLM and decided to talk about the model and how they didn't enjoy it and didn't like it and how messed up it was, that means they're selfish and that they needed to think about your feelings. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, when you look at an actual job and you're in a job position and someone talks crap about retail, are you gonna be mad because you work in retail? Like, are you gonna take that so personally that someone who talks crap about retail, you can't be their friend because you work in retail? So that's where I find the brainwashing at, because people really feel like this MLM is their identity. Like, they are wrapped in this MLM and that it is their sole being and their sole purpose, and that the MLM is them and they're being attacked when someone talks about their MLM, and that's the furthest from the truth. So again, if you have a job position and someone doesn't like that job, are you going to feel attacked because of it? Most likely not. But that's the complete opposite with these MLMs, and that's where you get people cutting off friends and cutting off family and cutting off people in their life because they truly feel as if you're attacking them. I get so frustrated by that because I hate seeing people do that or feel that way or kick people out of their lives just because someone doesn't agree with their MLM. Okay, so the next story I'm going to read is a little bit hard to understand, but I'm gonna try and get through this and understand it all. At the end, they did state that when they're telling stories and they get annoyed, they have a habit of doing run-on sentences and talking a lot. So there may be a little bit of confusion, but I'm gonna try and still read the story because I really want to read everyone's story here on my channel, even if, there's a language barrier or someone does run-on sentences or just because they don't have the best grammar, because I also don't. This horror story is more of how consultants affect people in their scheme. In my area, we have women expos with hundreds of small business booths each year. Someone from an ABC show is there to meet, and usually a DWTS, Dancing with the Stars dancer. I want to go. So she goes, so I go with my mom, sister, and we have all made it a tradition of ours to make it a Saturday afternoon thing. In between different speakers at the expo and fashion shows they put on, we would walk around the booths and naturally apply at every booth offering free stuff. We just went down the line, not even looking at what the businesses were. Over the years, we have realized that half of these businesses are MLM distributors, and the worst is Plexus. And I know the girls at the booth, so they really try to force that crap on me, and I just can't say no, especially to someone I know, and they know that. They know I can't say no, so they try and recruit the person because they know that she's someone who can't say no. And these people, the Plexus reps at the booth, were actually her camp counselors when she was 10. So we want an air purifier that has essential oils and light ups different colors, which is something up my sister's alley. We are low income and we don't have much going for us, so this was a thing we look forward to, not as like a yearly vacation, but this provided us an afternoon of free entertainment and bonding. So the lady contacted my mom and demanded to come to our house and meet with her and my dad. My parents are separated, so that just wasn't a possibility. My mom offered other things, like she can meet with her or all of us could, but my dad just isn't in the picture. Nothing mattered to this lady, and this lady continued to say that it had to have my father there. Girl, don't you get that, like, her father's not gonna be there? Hello? Not everyone has a father. It caused a lot of stress on my mom as she wanted to make this happen for my sister, but involving my dad just wasn't an option. And of course, my sister got her hopes up that she actually won something and is getting something in general. So when it fell through, it just made things worse than if she had never contacted us. I was just trying to ask my mom now what company or what the lady was in, and it just brought up all the frustration of her again, which in turn angered me. It may seem like, okay, you aren't losing anything and it wasn't yours to begin with, so no big deal, which is generally how I am with things. Like, oh well, moving on, because it makes it worse for me to dwell on disappointments. This though bothers me because I knew the excitement it gave my mom and sister, who never have anything going for them, and the hope it gave to just bring up past trauma, trying to force us to meet with the father. Sorry when telling stories and when annoyed, I have a habit of running sentences and making them longer than they need to be. I just had to stop myself from trying to explain more, hoping people get what I was trying to say about how this made each of us feel. So this exact story is, you go to these expos where they have some entertainment, and they, as she said, are a low income family, so they don't get to do many things. So this brings them some sort of entertainment sometimes, where there's speakers and there's fashion shows and everyone can go to it, which I love. Like, I need to look up these things. That's so awesome for them to provide free stuff like that. And at these expos, small businesses can go and they can have their businesses up. So then they say that they won this air purifier, but the MLM rep would not give them the purifier unless they could meet at their home with their mom and their dad. One, why? Two, if like, no, like, I don't get what goes through MLM reps' minds. Like, you don't know if people don't have fathers. Not everyone has a father. Some people have two fathers. Some people have two mothers. Some people have mother and a father. Some people have parents that don't identify as a mother or a father. Like, huh? So that kind of annoyed me because it's just annoying. So these MLM reps don't stop. They keep going. So that's kind of what I got from this. One, I don't like to see MLMs at craft shows or anything like that, because things like expos and craft shows are meant for people who make their own stuff. Like people who literally make a marble cup just like this, or literally, I actually have this next to me right now. This would be cool for someone to take to a craft show. I actually had a small business reach out to me and make a bracelet for me. So I don't know, I can't line it up perfectly. Maybe if I put it on, I can. Yes. So this says my name and it's marble, and it's actually a stacked bracelet. So you can actually stack it. I was gonna actually shout them out in another video I'm filming after this, so you guys will see this twice. But this is something for like a craft show. I will link this person down below. I love their bracelets. It's so cute. But this is something like, she made this from scratch. She made my bracelet for me from scratch. That's what should be at a craft show. People who are making things with their hands, okay? With their hands. That's going to be all for today's video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you like videos like this. I upload 3 days a week, Monday and Friday. I talk about multi-level marketing, and Wednesdays I talk about lifestyle stuff. And below, always remember that I have the link to report to the FTC if you have something that you need to to report about an MLM or an MLM rep, I have the link always down below. And that will be all for this video. Bye. See you in the next one. See you in the next one. Okay, I can't sing.